Would you like to change your reality, change your frequency to change your life? Well, that's why you're here with me, Neva Shah of Art of Inner Joy. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to explain to you the basic principles of reality transurfing. Because I am Neva Shah of Art of Inner Joy, and I am a reality transurfing coach and trainer. Before I do so, I request you to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you can share it with your family and friends. And don't forget to hit the bell. So let's go into a few distinctions. First of all, the mind interprets information using a collection of well-established labels. But our soul doesn't think or speak. It simply feels because it knows. It has an inner gnosis. If the mind is successful in interpreting the soul's information, then it feels like some sort of a discovery is made. So, in reality transurfing, we simply train ourselves to pay attention to our inner comfort, our inner soul. Because the freedom of choice allows you to stop asking, to stop demanding, and to stop struggling. It simply allows you to go and take whatever you want, because everything is always available in what is called, in reality transurfing, the space of variance. And cause and effect links gives rise to the flow of the variations. The path of least resistance is arranged into separate streams, and these streams then flow into spaces of variations that already have their solutions to all problems. So let's go into a little explanation of the basic terms of reality transurfing. The first one is the dream space. The dream space is not a product of our imagination. It is real, and it exists in the form of a film archive, where everything that ever was, is, and ever might be is stored. When you're seeing a dream, you're actually viewing one of these film rolls. Just try and imagine how you feel so free when you're dreaming, that the mind isn't there, and whatever you're thinking just flows. Then we have the physical reality. The physical reality is not that which never was, nor that which will never be, but it's rather that which happens once and now. Physical reality exists for one single now moment, just like a frame in a film roll which moves from the past to the future. But we have to know that there's always an eternal now that's playing in this script. And so this takes me on to reality being multi-layered, almost like an onion. Only two layers are familiar to us. There's the physical reality in which you live, and then there's the dream space, which you dream about every night. Sleeping and waking are roughly the same thing, only that they take place in different dimensions. So drifting off and waking up, you shift from one dimension into the other. Sleep and the awakening that follows sleep are similar in context to things like life and death. Life is sleeping, death is awakening, not the other way around. And so your life, your essence, your soul, your true self also moves from one incarnation into another through an infinite number of parallel realities. And because of the amnesia, we simply do not remember previous incarnations. The reason being is because every incarnation is a separate life or a multi-dimensional reality of your soul, or a separate dream, if you like. And the presence of the body is not essential to the life of the soul. The soul in the body is just one of the forms in which the soul can exist. So the body is kind of a vehicle or a biological suit that you're wearing. Then there's movement and transformation. These are fundamental qualities of reality and life. Just like a frame moves along the film roll, or the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, the butterfly then lays its larvae on a leaf, which are then metamorphosized into caterpillars, into butterflies once again. So there will always be movement. There will always be a transformation. And just like this, your soul will always evolve. One thing that I will be speaking about a lot in the coming weeks and months will be the inner screen and the outer screen. Think of the inner screen of your life as something of when you are lost in a thought and your attention is wholly immersed in that inner screen, your thought world. You may be oblivious to what is going on around you, and you just go into this automatic pilot mode. Then we have the outer screen. This is when your attention is busy with something external on the outside of you. You forget about that inner screen or your inner thoughts, and you do things automatically without having to think about it. Almost like when you're driving a car or riding a bicycle. Another word that will often come up is the attention. Notice that your attention is always focused either on that inner screen, your inner self within you, or on the outer screen, on the outside of you, but rarely in between both the screens. And so you're constantly sleeping because your attention is used to being glued to either the outer or the inner screen. But what if I invited you to take a pause in the middle of both the screens, in that beautiful spaciousness? And that is where I take people in my coaching programs. And the result of this is that you've stopped taking any control of your attention. It does not obey you, but it just drifts between the outer and the inner screen, randomly. And you're constantly dropping into a non-conscious state. But what if you could drop into your own consciousness and take control? Sleep. Sleep is a subconscious state in which your attention is immersed either in the outer or the inner screen, so that you're helpless and have no control over yourself once again, or indeed of anything that is happening around you. Sleep is like your anabolic state, dreaming. Dreaming is what you see in the dream space or in a space of a physical reality. So reality and dreaming are essential in being the same thing. For you are also dreaming your reality. What if I told you that reality is a dream? A dreaming is reality. Have a think. Awakening. In order to wake up either in a dream or in your waking life, you must pull your attention away from the external or the internal screen that I just spoke about and go into that central awareness state, the central space. We will talk about this further in my YouTube audios. The awareness center. The awareness center is an observation point from which you can see where your attention is directed in any one given moment. It's the point where you're focusing on, and at the same time you see what you're doing and what's going on around you. Am I awake? Am I aware? So when you're in that awareness state, you can ask yourself, where am I? What am I doing? What am I giving attention to? And in the moment that you ask yourself the question, you awaken and arrive at this awareness point. This is me. This is my reality. I see myself. I see my reality. I am aware. I am awake. Try this as soon as you wake up in the morning and see how things shift. Another thing I'll be talking about later on is a stroll through a dream. Asleep or in waking life, you enter the awareness point having said to yourself, I see myself, I see my reality. You've already put a message into the universe, into your innerverse, and you've given yourself permission to enter your awareness point. So you tell yourself, today I'm going to take a little walk through a waking dream. And then you go for a stroll anywhere, to work, to the park, just to see a state of clarity. And when you are immersed in either one of these screens, you aren't there. You, as the smaller self, aren't in control of yourself or the situation. Your higher self, your soul self, takes over. In a condition of clarity, you're free. And from this moment, your dream, whether it be whilst you're sleeping or in the waking life, becomes like a lucid dream. You become the observer of your reality. The smaller self steps away. You are then in control of yourself, and most importantly, you acquire the capacity to control the situation. Like anything, this does take a lot of practice. It's like exercising your muscle. Another thing I'll talk about are characters in a film, which are all you, because all is self. You are a multidimensional being experiencing different fractal aspects of yourself. As asleep, as in waking life, you're simply in a film and you're carried by the flow of the script. Your mind is not your own because your attention is not your own. And so when you're strolling through your script, you ought to have noticed that your own attention was constantly drifting away, either on the outer screen or the inner screen. But when you're aware, unlike the other characters around you who are asleep, you see yourself, you see your reality, and you can consciously control your will, which you couldn't previously. Wake up, Neo! This is your first step towards a new level of self-control. I see myself. I see my reality. And so you can start to control your reality. So what's your script? You are simply led by a certain outer script, which, if you're not careful, will start to weave you into a film in which you are just one of the characters, playing a role, wearing a mask, and being taken over. Dream characters. How are the dream characters different to actual living characters, living people, or film characters? They simply have no self-awareness. They are not aware of themselves as individual personalities. Why? Because they do not have willpower. They are not free in their actions, because they allow themselves to be controlled by the script. They're like a paper boat bobbing along in the sea, allowing the waves to take you wherever they wish. These are soulless beings. They are simply templates, or what we call in reality transurfing, mannequins. They can't even say, I am me, because they don't have a sense of self. Would you like to be one of those? I certainly wouldn't. So you, or rather the self, or rather the soul, is the same thing as your attention. Your attention cannot stay in the awareness center for very long. You have to develop the new habit of bringing your attention back to that 0 point, that still point, that center point. Use your attention to track your attention, yourself, that is. Dreams, both while sleeping and in the waking life, can be either lucid or non-lucid. In a non-lucid dream, you're quite helpless, bobbing along, like that paper boat. But all you have to do is to start controlling the focus of your attention, and you come to a life in the movie, gaining the ability to behave at will, exactly as you see it. I am the master of my reality. This is what I cover in my self-mastery 3-month coaching programs. Triggers. You do not have to try and hold your attention in the awareness center continuously. Meaning and value are to be found in something else, namely your ability to respond to what is going on around you. You need to acquire the opposite habit, not to fall into a dream, but to simply wake up when something happens around you. Wake up, Neo! You can tell that The Matrix is one of my favorite films. Any event, even a slight waft of air in your space, should make you alert. Am I awake? Am I aware? This is an awakening signal. Likewise, any action you take should be a reminder to check where your attention is focused. The outer trigger could be as soon as something happens, you wake up, something triggers you. And the inner trigger could be before you do anything, wake up. Eternity archive. The same thing goes for the dreaming space, which exists in the form of a film roll archive, where everything is stored that ever was, will be, and could be, in the space of variance. Only the illuminated frame, a momentary impression of your physical reality, is truly real. Everything else is virtual, including the past and the future, and all that is stored in the eternity archive. composing your reality. To compose your reality means to determine the direction in which the frame will move and the film role that will be played. You can do this, but you don't make the most of it, do you? Just as you don't use your attention control function. You have to compose your desired reality in advance, rather than going into a battle with your current circumstances. What do I always say? Circumstances don't matter. It's your state of being. Instead, you can sometimes try and change the given reality of your current frame. Reality is only reality by virtue of the fact that it's already happened. You cannot change anything that's already happened. But this is exactly what you do try and do, in as much as everything that surrounds you consists of that which has already happened. Propelling the frame. As you know, changing the past is impossible. You may as well forget about the present too, as that also has already happened, and it isn't what you would choose. What you have to do is create the chance to create your own future that you're choosing on your film roll, along with which the next frame will move. So your intention, your pure intention, accounts for the actions and the actionables you're going to take in moving forwards. And in order to start anything, you have to intend it. And when you're doing something, intention is implemented via action. Similarly to attention, which has two screens, the inner and the outer, intention has two centers, an inner center and an outer center. The inner center accounts for all of your everyday functioning, and it's located in the front of your skull. This is your petty intention. And when you concentrate, you frown. When you intend to do something, you tense your muscles on your forehead, and your muscles then enable you to take basic forms of action into the current frame. With the outer center, you hardly use it at all. Yet this is what moves your future frame. And you can see where the outer center is located in an instant right now. At the back of the head, the all-seeing eye. And so we have this intention plate. It's like a chakra, an energy chakra. You can't see it, but you can feel it at the back of your head. And the outer intention center is at the end of this. It's kind of situated between the shoulders, along the spine, not only right against the spine, but a little way from it. But it projects, like I said, from the back of the head. It should be able to find that spot. You should be able to find it intuitively. It is the exact distance away from your spine. Just focus your attention on this area and you will feel it. Your shift of your attention to the end of that plate allows you to visualize a picture of any event that you would like to attract into your life. And by doing this, you're simply illuminating or attracting that future frame to you, which then becomes manifest in the physical reality. All of this I will go into further detail in my upcoming audios, where I talk in more detail about reality transurfing, about the creator spark, about allowing, about following, about the outer power, about composing the image, about the inner motivator, manipulating reality, creating and composing a reflection. So, all of you Neos, are you ready to wake up and be aware?